Hello, guys. Hello, my dear friends. Greetings from Lutsk, from Ukraine. I am so happy that many of you joined our live. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see me well. Greetings to Scotland, to the United States, to Norfolk. I so much love reading your places where you are. And greetings to all of you. And first of all, I would like to thank the team of my amazing friends, moderators. And thank you so much, Martin and Spencer and Rudy and Philip and Michael, for protecting us from evil interference of Russian cyber drones. Greetings to Denmark and to Netherlands and to Canada and to Norway. And I have to confess, that since the work on the channel, I have learned so many flags. I did not I knew some flags, basic flags, maybe 20, but somehow it was not my strongest point. And now I think I know 100, and all because of you. When you write me messages and you show me your beautiful, for example, Portuguese or South African flags. You see, I recognize that all, and I know that, and Denmark. And it was actually always easy to learn because first you were showing the flag, writing the country, and now I know that even without the name of the country. So thank you so much for making me smarter, for making me stronger, because it's just our community. Greetings to Nice, Francois. Happy to see you, Michael, and of course Brigitte. And that's really good that you have found this time, and there are a number of topics that we will discuss. Of course, there are some good updates. There are some good updates from the Russian economy field. That's why I have decided to put it as the topic of our conversation today. But also, thank you so much to Balkane for your constant support of the channel. Just like the names of countries and flags, we bear in our hearts the name of supporters. That is truly, really good. And today we will discuss a number of topics. Of course, I have, I had this problem of disclosing people on the channel without asking their permission, so I won't do that. But I will tell you that one very smart, economically person who typically said that I am a little bit exaggerating news from Russia. Thank you so much, Bevan, and I hope that person guesses. Just yesterday informed that the situation is really bad. And when you read these professional economic articles, sometimes you don't understand what is meant, because it's just like this legal language or super academic language. They can make it so complex, as if to exclude you from the circle of those who can understand. Thank you so much, Elaine. And thank you so much. And then when you ask, please translate it into human language. You actually learn that there are a lot of systemic troubles. So not some minor elements that can be solved with some creative decisions, but global and serious problems. So happy to see all of you joining. And thank you so much, Elaine, again, for making the community stronger. And that is very, very precious to me. I see that these days on the channel there were some reports about disappearing comments. I often describe it as YouTube weather. Thank you so much, Neil. United we stand. And this is something that they do. I don't know, either they add some filters or they react to some emojis, because sometimes even my comments disappear. And it's very unusual, for comments of the author of the channel to disappear. Please know it's not me. And remember, it will return back to normal. That is why me and my digital advisor, we often call it YouTube weather. It's just like bad weather, and then it returns back to normal. Maybe they change some algorithm. Typically, they give less recommendations during that period, less comments appear, some disappear, and it's somehow connected. But with your likes, with your shares, it will all return back to normal. Um, you know, thank you so much. Sending love to all of you with your beautiful messages. And thank you so much to Balkan. You're amazing. And Russell Whiskey and Rudy Peck. People, you are the units, like we have units, we have forces. Thank you so much, Yarko. And honestly, I have recorded a vlog just before our stream in which I will tell you this beautiful summary, actually a very long list of Russian military industry facilities that were demilitarized during this week, and the list is one. And it's actually very interesting because this week Ukrainian drones chose Russian objects that actually work with air defense and jamming systems. So it's super ironic. But when I was recording, greetings to Australia. I know it's super early, and New Zealand. World peace. Thank you so much. And when I was recording that video, I said that our channel and our channels, and I do mean it because it's not my channel. It's the channel of us. It's only live and real when we have people who want to know, people who tell their stories, people who do something in their parts of the world. And once again, I'm using this opportunity, thank you so much, Duncan, to thank you again for being this channel, because that's you, just like my name once attracted you, and later we have started creating this synergy. And by the way, all the comments that I read, they also inspire a lot of my videos. I will ask beautiful moderators to remind about Anna Danilchuk channel, which is good, and some videos that are more conversational. I allow myself less news and more like emotions there. A new video will appear today, and I hope you will like it, because that will be about the great Russian culture. And I feel a little bit like an expert in that area, and I share more of my experience during the filming of the documentary series, Big Russian Lies, that some of you watched dubbed, but there are a lot of things that you may find interesting. Thank you so much, Andre. You are just amazing people. And first of all, when we were talking before the start of this stream, we discussed with my friends who happen to also be moderators this protest in Ukraine, and that I may get some questions, because it was really beautiful that people reacted. But Russian disinformation, Russian propagandists tried to use it, really quickly, and to paint it dark. So that I value our honesty and the relations that we've developed on the channel. You know that when I was talking about that law at the very beginning, you saw I was dissatisfied. I shared more emotions with my friends moderators, and then I spoke openly about that on the channel. Thank you, Rudy, for sharing the channel, and subscribe people, not to please. That's amazing when the community grows that too. So thank you so much to Balkan. You're like the world champion. Thank you. So I thought not to wait for your questions, but maybe you have some questions about this law and the protest that you witnessed in Ukraine. And you see that I'm totally relaxed, and I feel comfortable now that the president heard the people. And now on the 31st of July, oh my God, that's already end of July. So we now have new votes for a new law that will protect the independence of Ukraine anti-corruption bodies. Greetings, Iman. So happy when you are with us, sending you lots of love from Lutsk. Yeah, it's democracy in progress. That's democracy in action. But I thought maybe you have some specific questions you would like me to answer. So I'm here, and this won't make me feel uncomfortable because once again, I'm very proud of the way Ukrainians react. So, do you need me to introduce you to some context? Let me know in the comments, or all of you are aware, because I don't know, like what's the best. It's just like in family or among friends. It's always good to know everything. So, thank you so much to Balkan. I'm still reading people receiving your sponsorship. So, yeah, advisory moderators, like the board of advisors or the council. That's interesting, by the way. What's the best way to speak about the protest to support Ukrainian people? Thank you so much. The best way to support Ukrainian people and to speak about the protests is I believe that these protests are a pure demonstration of democracy. They totally destroy Putin's and Trump's sometimes narratives that Zelenskyy is a dictator, that Ukraine wants to change a president or something, because we never protested at all until we received the law that we don't like. So people went out, thousands and thousands of people went out on the streets, and there were no police beating them. Even though, by the way, you have to remember, it is martial law. Like, we have war, and during war, during war, there are a lot of restrictions, and technically, thank you so much to Balkan, cheers, it's just water, it should have been gin tonic. So anyway, I have to tell you that people went out on the streets, and if Zelenskyy or anyone wanted to set at least tiny bit authoritarian rule, to tell you the truth, war gives a lot of opportunities. During wartime, there are a lot of restrictions. For example, I cannot go out on the streets after midnight. I can't tell you that this never happened, especially if I return from a business trip and, for example, my train arrives at 1 a.m. There are some taxi services that can operate during a curfew, but in general, you're not allowed. Our men are not allowed to travel abroad if they don't have a permission official. So these restrictions are because of the curfew. So if Ukraine was not a democracy, it would be easy to, arrest people or not to let them stay, to ban this protest or something like that. This did not happen. There were thousands of people. There were a day when Zelenskyy spoke with his advisors, when he spoke with people who represent these anti-corruption organs and so on, and people continued their protests on the streets. And most importantly, despite greetings to Spain, despite necesito hacer mi tarea de casa por español. Gracias por reminding me. So anyway, it was really, really difficult to explain it, like, to Russians. And by the way, here to explain, I remember some of MAGA people tried to describe it as anti-Zelensky protests, but if you know Ukrainian language at least a little bit, you can read what was on these posters that protesters had. And they spoke about the law. Thank you so much to Balkan. Thank you. I guess, like, all of people watching us today will become like special members of the channel. Thank you so much. And I'm sure lots of us are very grateful for what you're doing, not just me. So if you read the posters, what people say, they were protesting against the law. They were saying they need strong, independent anti-corruption bodies. They were also talking about the need to safeguard as much as possible European integration, because European integration is very closely connected to this anti-corruption bodies and reforms that we can make. And by the way, it's super important to finish this judicial reform in Ukraine. It started, but during wartime, a lot of things were frozen or slowed down. It did not return back to the past. But so people were demonstrating they don't like the law. They want this law to be changed. After a day of doubts and hesitations, Zelenskyy announced that thank you so much, Arms. Thank you. And yeah, indeed, these are just super cool. Thank you so much. Zelenskyy had heard people. Once again, this bill did not mean to cover up something. There are a lot of people in Ukraine who felt okay about it. You have to understand that too. There are a lot of people who can actually find some logics behind that. And I'm sure there were some reasons for that. But the active society did not like it, went out on the streets, and we were heard. So for me, one of the three main arguments, maybe four, that you can say when talking with people who believe it's not right or wrong. So first of all, Ukrainians have a very active civil society, and we protect our democracy even in times of war, even when there is a danger that, a drone or missile will fall on the heads of the protesters. Because we realize it's not just about this external problems, it's also internal. We have to survive. Many people say we have to win the war, but we have to win the peace too, meaning that peace in Ukraine must develop and help our country live in this proper dimension as we want it, together with the Western world, as they keep naming it. So first of all, active civil society, people practice democracy. You have to exercise your democracy. I kind of like this phrase. You have to exercise your democracy. That's what we did. Another good sign, President heard the people. President heard the people. He first signed the law. We wanted him to veto. Now he offers a different law that satisfies the society. It is already on the webpage, so people can read it. People can agree. I don't read a lot of laws, just like I love when our politicians or some greetings, Andy. Thank you so much, nice guy, Rudy. You're a nice guy, Rudy. So a lot of these people, they keep commenting, and those who criticize the first law, those who were the most severe criticizers, thank you so much to Balkane. Thank you. It feels like birthday already. Thank you so much. So those who criticize this law greatly, now they say that the second edition or the new law is totally okay. So I mean, people who didn't like anything now are fully satisfied. For me, that is an important, the good question from Robert, that people are satisfied now. So it's not something in the middle, because the most critics, the strongest critics are now satisfied. Was external or internal pressure on Zelenskyy more important? I am sure internal. So here people in Ukraine were also worried about this external consequences. But, with all this escalation management, with all this indecisiveness and tolerance, I'm sure many legislators and politicians may believe we will somehow explain it. We will somehow change something. But with Ukrainian people on the street, you don't have that option. And honestly, that is not the first time when we see that from Zelenskyy. It was very typical even before war, during his election campaigns. You know what they did? What was very typical? I like this. Kittens, Spencer. Hello, kittens, our tradition. Yeah, if you identify as a kitten, I have just greeted you. And I know that Michael and Kitty are watching, by the way. So why do these kitties have dissatisfied emotions? They have to be satisfied. Oh yeah, I see. Thank you so much, Spencer, and all the other kittens. So anyway, with all these reactions, I have to tell you that before the start of the full-scale war, during his election campaign, but I have greeted them already. Thin Diana, happy to see you and always happy to catch up. So it's super important to remember that it's typical for Ukrainian government, Zelenskyy, to test society. It is not the first time when they drop something like an informational bomb, for example. They want something. And then you see people react. And then they say, well, maybe we don't want that. Maybe you are right. We have reconsidered our decision. It's not just about this law. I can think of a lot situations when they acted like that. But people, this is actually good. This is actually good because you never know for sure. Like you cannot be 100% confident in your decisions, even if you're a president. That's like when you think that you do everything right, then you are the Kremlin goblin. You are a dictator. Thank you so much to Balkane, and you have become the dictator of this channel. Thank you for making our community way stronger than it was yesterday. So with all this, we have to understand that testing your society is not bad. It's just like a discussion. Zelenskyy cannot speak with everyone in person. Zelenskyy cannot send messages asking, do you think that's okay? But when we speak with the people, they hear us. Even if they are dissatisfied, he looked very stressed. He did not record the address in time. And here in Ukraine, it was a very interesting evening because everyone was watching and they were just like, the law appeared and disappeared, appeared and disappeared. And now we have the one that we like. Another really, really good thing about this situation is how they reacted in Moscow. And please remember to like this video to make it more visible to those who still do not know enough about Ukraine. So, thank you so much, AH. Thank you. And an interesting fact is that with all these protests on the streets of Ukraine in times of big war, we have to say, I'm sorry, I'm just reading messages from my team of moderators. So anyway, you have to remember that in Russia, they are very much afraid of democracy. One of the reasons why they attacked Ukraine, because they thought that democracy is contagious. And successful democracies in Ukraine, or as it was in Georgia, is really bad for Putin. So they attack us, they want to destroy us, to demonstrate that, no, you cannot survive if you choose to be democratic. Only authoritarian regimes live in the 21st century. And now they witness, there was one dark humor, if it's okay to share with you. There were a lot of memes. Greetings to Canada and greetings, Michael. Happy to see you. And oh my God. And greetings to Amsterdam and greetings to Amsterdam kittens. and Michael, greetings to New Zealand kittens, and greetings to British kittens and to Danish kittens from Ukrainian kittens. You see, I'm even wearing the kitten uniform. Thank you so much to Balkane, and I have just been offered that you are not a dictator but a giftator of this channel. Thank you. You don't have to, honestly. Thank you so much, but that's like too much perhaps. Once again, remember to like the video, the stream, because it becomes more visible. Greetings to Sweden. So there is this like dark joke that was all over Ukrainian internet. There was a meme with Putin totally lost, like, and very angry, saying that, oh my God, I thought that like I've destroyed all of these crazy activists, or at least they are fighting on the front lines. But they have a new generation of them, because a lot of people who were actually on the streets protesting, they were young. And it's not unusual, don't think that it's just like people who do want to become a part of the European Union, people who enjoy visa-free travel, people who now learn a lot about the EU legislation and so on. And that is why it is just like that. And we have to understand that these people, they have parents, they have brothers, they have loved ones on the front lines, and they are fighting for a strong democratic European country. And they keep that in mind, and they protect it in the rear. Many of these people are just like 18, 20. They are not of 18 is a voting age in Ukraine, and they are 16, perhaps 18. They wanted to so 18. This is, by the way, is the time when you are how do you say, like, underage. That's when you are not allowed. Like 18 is this age that in the United States, for example, it's 21. But in Ukraine, it's 18. Like 18, you can marry. 18, you are fully responsible for yourself. You can drink. So you can buy alcohol. So this is 18, and 18 is the time when you can vote. And these people were on the streets also. And this is a new generation of Ukrainians. And Putin is trying to kill all those who protested. And at the same time, there is a new generation. So literally, from his perspective, he needs to kill all of the Ukraine, because all Ukrainians are like that. And this is what worries him a lot. And that is, by the way, the reason why he keeps targeting Ukrainian cities with drones and with missiles unstoppably. This is just terror. Thank you so much, William, Daniel, Ed, Tony, Marcel, and Pat, for buying me coffees. And cheers to you. Thank you so much for this support. And thank you so much, Finbo. People, you are amazing. This is just like this tactic of terror. By the way, on that new channel, I also speak about that, Russians keep choosing dictators. Russians keep electing the strong hand. And in Ukraine, it's the country. Freedom is, to some extent, our religion. Freedom is a great part of Ukrainian life, and it has always been like that historically. So this is not something that appeared in the 21st century or when we renewed our independence in 1991. No, Cossacks are the product of that freedom-loving culture. I don't know, one of the first constitutions written in Ukraine is the reason. In Kiev Rus, and that is Middle Ages, like early Middle Ages, children from all stances of society were allowed to study at school, and actually were given this opportunity. There was some free schooling. That is totally unbelievable. Like that in the year, let's say 1000, you have access to education being a peasant son. If your parents want you and let you study, there were special schools at the cathedrals when they were allowed to study, write and read. In the year 2000, long before Moscow was founded, long before Moscow appeared, Ukraine had a really good educational, system. So freedom is a part of our DNA. It's not this pathetic phrase or something unbelievable. That is a typical Ukrainian behavior. By the way, I have received some comments when we went out on the streets, and there were people worried that maybe, this is a Russian interference. Maybe they want you to go on some protest or something like that. Bjorn, what is the most urgent need for Ukraine now? Air defense systems and weapons. It's not about food, it's not about clothes. It's about weapons, defensive weapons or long-range missiles that we can protect ourselves, destroy. It's way better to destroy factories of drones than to catch drones on the territory of Ukraine above our houses. The best thing and that we need is weapons. I'm sorry, it's not food or clothes. We are supplied with that. People this is something a bit unusual. Thank you so much, Gavin. That is a bit unusual because once again, many people learn what is war from movies, and these movies describe some families living in the mountains of Afghanistan. No, it's just like Ukraine is different. Ukraine is just like the war coming to your country. I don't want to give you the names of your countries in such context, but it's just like a meteorite, but a very evil one falling on you, and the rest is not that the rest continues. People go to schools, people go to banks, people go eating. People have become to one extent fatalists, if that's the right word to say. So we have food, we have clothes, we have restaurants working, not on the front lines, not where they can reach with artillery shells, but I'm sure you can find a really good pub in Kharkiv. And Kharkiv is constantly bombed, but many say they have tremendous beer in Kharkiv, and I would love to try it. And people drink it. There is, for example, one coffee shop that I visited. I remember drinking coffee there. It is near underground station Lukyanivska, and if you follow the updates, you might have noticed that this was the station targeted by a missile, and it was smoked a little bit. People were coughing, and it was really, really dangerous. And no, shelters is not that good. You cannot. What do you want us to dig these shelters? Do you realize that to make a good shelter, plus people, and I'm writing about that in the book, and I see that many people don't understand that fully. Do you know what is the time of, for example, Kinjal missile traveling from the moment of launch to the target? Less than 2 minutes. Will you live in the air raid shelter? Because sometimes people don't understand that. They think if you have air raid, if you have bomb shelters, why do you die? Well, first of all, because you may not have enough time to go to a shelter. And if it happens 15 times during a day for 3.5 years, you will stop doing that. And with missiles, they are super fast. And once again, if it's a cellar of your building, that's not a bomb shelter. It's better than, I don't know, staying on the 22nd floor, but be realistic, it's not a bomb shelter. If it doesn't have 2 exits, it's not a bomb shelter. If it doesn't have special thick walls and so on, it's not a bomb shelter. And many people do not go to these improvised bomb shelters because they can be an awful uh, an awful, grave for those people who are hiding there. And um, there are also a lot of examples when such things happen. When, for example, the whole building collapses and it traps people inside. And if they were, for example, in their flat, they could get out of their flat and be saved by rescuers. But then they need to dig to these people at the very bottom of their cellars. That's why many choose to stay in this corridors. For example, I go in a corridor. I don't live on a high floor, and I feel good about that. I don't like this really high. Poland won't fly, and I don't know why Poland flies air defense in Poland, spending money on fuel if they do not stop missiles. Why are they doing it? Especially when Russian drones cross their territories, they still do not shoot them down. So, what's the purpose of this flying? I honestly don't know. People keep whistles, but do you realize how you feel when you put that whistle on your neck going to bed? What dreams you have? um, so there are a lot of things that you cannot, and once again, lots of missiles travel really fast. And there is no way just like to guarantee that like I have followed all the rules, so nothing will happen to me. No, it's war. And you never know if it's right to do this or that. What is also very exhausting, you constantly have to make this decision. Do I go to a bomb shelter or do I stay? And for example, I stay at home, drones are flying, and then missiles. Should I go to a bomb shelter with missiles? Perhaps yes, but I do have like 2 minutes. Will I reach the bomb shelter? And by the way, they are shooting drones. Will they shoot me while I'm running to the air defense shelter during shooting at the drones? Because they shoot at the drones with rifles and drones fall with debris. So a question, what do I do then? Huh? That was something I was thinking about recently. Because at first there was like during that very big attack that my city experienced, please like that in solidarity. I remember there was a moment, um, like at first there were one or two drones. And I think, okay, these are one or two drones. That's the way we Ukrainians think. And then there are 20 drones. And then you read groups of drones are traveling in Lutsk direction, and you think, okay. And then you read the start of 2 Kinjal missiles. 3-4 minutes, that's what they write. A bomb shelter is like 3-4 minutes from me. I can reach it in 3-4 minutes, hypothetically. But it can travel 2.5 minutes and I will be outside. Another thing, they also keep shooting. They keep shooting the drones and I can hear them. So during these attacks, you have to realize you hear shots all the time. Like you hear shooting on your street, like in a movie, in a Rambo movie. And you have to make a decision. Do you go out to a bomb shelter because the missiles are already flying during these 3 minutes? But hypothetically, you can be shot either by that anti-drone rifle because they also ricochet, and it's curfew. You're not supposed to be on the street. So unfortunately, many people think what goes up must come down. But what happens, you cannot, do you sleep? You don't sleep during the first night, you don't sleep during the second. But then you sleep because your body needs sleep. And it's always a decision that you make. And I also see the suffering of people that have children, and because like when you make a decision for yourself, that's one thing, but they also have to decide for their children. And there is always this like thought that like from one point of view, a lot of smart parents whom I understand do not want to traumatize their children too much. And when they hear that, I don't know, the drones are being shot far away, let's say in Kyiv, and you don't have that gut feeling if you are being like sleep without sleep for a week. You lose any gut feelings, you're simply like a little bit disappointed. And with all that, Ukrainians protest against the laws that they don't like. Tell me, do you like us? Because I do. Thank you so much, KF. So people, with all that, thank you so much, Olga, and thank you, Mark. Thank you for your support. Thank you for buying me coffees. Thank you to all the good people that become sponsors and patrons. Cheers to you. And these people, like, they don't want to traumatize their children. There are a lot of parents who, put earphones so that children listen to music, or children watch cartoons, and they don't hear shootings. And if you wake them up in the middle of the night, you take them to a bomb shelter. Thank you so much, KF. Thank you. And they are frightened, they are angry, they are whining, they want to sleep, they are little. And now it's summer and it's sometimes winter, and they may have need to go to school the next day. So it is always like, I see that a lot of people have very serious troubles deciding what to do with the children. Because if you risk your own life, that's one thing. But if you risk your child's life, that's another thing. There was one tragic story, maybe you have seen that, with a man in Lviv, and you know that Lviv is very rarely targeted. That was a beautiful family of 5, mother, father, and 3 daughters, very beautiful daughters. And it was an attack on Lviv. And they decided to go to a bomb shelter after the explosions became really strong. And they were going out. And in the corridor of the building, the mother asked the father to take some water. So they were going down to a bomb shelter, and he returned back to take some water, because if you spend a lot of time and with children in a bomb shelter, you may need water. And a missile hit that building. And a missile killed the mother and 3 daughters. The father, who went to an apartment and that was supposed to be more dangerous, survived. And he was like, he is to some extent a dead man. He felt sorry he was not with his family. They often show him on various events where he shares this story, but you don't see him being alive. And he had this very beautiful children and his wife, and it was just a second. He went to take some water, and it was just, they, to some extent, they were seemingly risking his life, because he was the one returning back to the flat, and they were going to the bomb shelter, but they did not reach it on time, and somehow it got on this, like, staircase and killed them all in 1 second. And he was safe and sound with a bottle of water in a flat. And sure, he realized what happened, because there was no half of the building. So just like the best way is to shoot down these missiles and these drones in the airs. Even if the debris fall, they can cause them, like, they can ruin, for example, your car, or I don't know, you can have the windows will get out, will be broken, but debris does not cause this kind of trouble. And that's the best way. That is why I say, like, not building bomb shelters. It's difficult to build them, for example, and you won't have that many, like, to hide all of Ukrainians. So of course the best way is to prevent things that kill us. Number one, air defense that shoot down the missiles and drones. And the way better solution is giving Ukraine enough long-range weapons so that we can target. And you all know, we always use your weapons legitimately, so we can destroy these factories of drones, so we can destroy these arsenals. What we do, we protect ourselves, but just on the Russian side, by targeting and destroying their objects. I think it's very, very, very right. So the best thing, and that's why if you'd ask me, what do we need? Weapons, details, expertise, I don't know, permissions, joint companies, money, programs. That's what we need. Not food, not something like, I don't know, not shelters. Greetings to Canada. It's never late. I don't know, how do the men who fire these missiles live with themselves? I don't know, because they clearly know. I think that Sky Sentinel is a good project that is being developed, and we actually encouraged people to support the campaign together with United 24 on the channel. You have to understand, all of these technologies are super fresh, and they are being invented in the process because we want to save people, but they are working, same as drone interceptors. For example, drones, they also adapt. And right now, at the beginning of war, drones were flying really low, and now they are flying really high. And you cannot stop one with a rifle when it is like 1 kilometer away. So that's why drone interceptors are becoming more effective. Thank you so much, Rudy. And it's all very interesting and very important, because what is necessity is the mother of invention, and that is very true about us now. And by destroying these arsenals, by destroying drone factories, by destroying military facilities, and remember to watch the video that will appear on the channel later. I hope you will like it. I have collected some truly interesting facts about that. So let's maybe also speak about a little bit. Ukraine cannot target the source of the missiles because Ukraine is not allowed to use long-range missiles, and they target us with missiles from places that are not within the reach of ordinary drones. What we do, we try to reach them, and we are super successful in that. But demilitarizing their arsenals, production sites is the best thing. Just like it's not useful to try to hunt this just one system that launches the missiles, because it's small and the missile is expensive and we don't have them. Germany does not want to give us Taurus and so on. So it's better to destroy the missiles, and the more missiles we can destroy with such hits, and then they detonate. And from time on time, I'm very happy to report on the channel about this successes. So that's super cool. But we had to speak a little bit, at least, about this little Russian economy, because that was the topic of our conversation today. And I have a question to you. Can you let me know in the comments, is Russian economy a little bit on the pages of your media? Have you come across any updates, any news about Russian economy in your newspapers, websites? I'm interested in your national, not something like in super internationals. No news. I have one word for Russia. Same. Do I know? Yes, it's talked in Finland. Finland knows Russia just as Ukrainians do. A little with new sanctions. No, some news. It's interesting. I have answered the question about Zelenskyy at the very beginning. Really long answer. If you are not from the beginning with the stream, go up and you will read it. No, occasionally, yes, in America, mostly on digital platforms. No, not local news. By the way, that's interesting, Alms. You have given me this dimension that I didn't think about, this like digital and paper. And there are lots of people who still believe that something is real if it's in paper, on paper. And I agree with the Savage Wombat. Nice to see everyone here. Oh my God, we have Alexander Lukashenko joining us. Hi there. Why don't you speak Belarus? Very few people speak Belarus language, unfortunately. So yes, in Sweden, in local news in Germany, right? Denmark, some talk, and okay, that's interesting. So we see that in the northern countries like Finland, Sweden, maybe because you like realize what Russia is and you follow very attentively what is happening before the collapse of that evil empire. But many people say that nothing at best. Oil price, which is connected, but we may not say that it is super directly connected to the collapse. So people here in Ukraine get information about the Russian economy from outside, because you may think that I'm exaggerating some things to make you feel, more optimistic. But to tell you the truth, Ukrainians are super focused on frontline, super focused on military industry. That's what we follow. We also follow sanctions, chaos in the White House, and other things. But I cannot tell you that we follow that attentively Russian economy. We get this information we get this. Ukrainian armed forces respond with drone strikes, not with comments. So what is interesting is like, I can't tell you that Ukrainians are obsessed with the Russian economy topic, even though a lot of people actually talk that economy is perhaps one of the major spheres that can undermine Russian war effort. And it's interesting that we get this information from various professional journals, professional analytical articles that can be translated and you can read them too. And sometimes they honestly sound a little bit boring. But for those who know, they demonstrate a really bad moment, because a lot of corporate bankruptcies are now observed inside. And there are whole branches of the Russian industry that go bankrupt. For example, Russian steel production or Russian coal mining. There are serious troubles with the extraction of oil. Recently, I have watched one series about Russia in the 90s, how all of their oligarchy was born. And it was interesting that in the 90s, they kept saying, like, we have to stop being a resource country. We have to build cars, we have to innovate, and something like that. And you realize that, like, 30 years later, they are still just a resource country, totally uncompetitive with the rest of the world. And that is actually pathetic, because instead of investing billions of dollars in their own production, in their coal mines, in their steel production, they decided to bankrupt Gazprom, Lukoil, airlines to keep killing Ukrainians. They want to kill us so much that they are prepared to go bankrupt themselves, which is crazy. Can we make 700 likes, people? Greetings to Tampa Bay, Florida. So we may say that this is very vivid, and somehow it does not get the necessary attention in the media. And I actually consider it a serious problem, because people still have this image of Great Russia. People still have this image of Russia being able to defeat everyone, of Russia having a lot of money, when it's not true. And there are whole sectors of the Russian industry, of the Russian economy, that they sacrifice. And they actually do not have money to give any, like subsidies or to support people with anything, because all of that is spent on the front lines. I keep repeating that because this is something that amazed me or shocked me. Thank you, by the way, for helping me with the extension of my vocabulary. That was really great. So what shocked me greatly is that one day of Russian war in Ukraine costs the Kremlin $900 million. So literally every day they spend almost $1 billion, because missiles are very expensive, because troops, hundreds of thousands, because of armored vehicles, weapons, like artillery shells. And by the way, China may supply Russia with everything. China may keep buying, their oil, but China does not give them money. And Russians spend, this like raw money on this war. And they are exhausted. They soon will not have money to pay to the pensioners. They have stopped paying pensions, by the way, to Russian citizens in Latvia, Estonia, and they want to keep influences these people, because when they plan a special military operation against the Baltics, they will describe it as the liberation or the support of Russian speakers. So they need these people. They want to be liked by these people, but they don't have money to support these people, to send them money from Russia, demonstrating that Russia wants them. And this is a symptom. And I feel so angry and a little bit offended that this truth is not shared on your media, that people still see Russia as super rich. This is a poor, resource-driven country that does not produce anything apart from now missiles and drones to kill those who are able to live a better life. So they have one of the things that since this economic forum in St. Petersburg became more and more vivid, that more and more companies, more and more representatives of steel production, coal production, stopped hiding the truth. They started speaking about the tremendous financial cuttings, tremendous financial problems that they experience. And there are no money for dotations, subsidies, or something like that that they could previously take from some, reserves. I'm sure that in Russia, not only they have any, they don't have any reserves, any country does, but I'm sure they have already got into the pocket of people. And that is one of the reasons why they actually limit a number of cash that you can take from an ATM, and a number of operations with your money that you can perform per day. In a very typical Russian way, they describe it as protection from fraud, when in reality they don't have this money. So, for example, if millions of Russians go to banks to take their deposits. Oh, greetings, Vlad. Happy to see you. You know that our community loves you very, very much. Greetings to London from Lutsk. And please, I am disappointed that with this decades, if not centuries, of Russian propaganda and the fake image that they described as being a strong country, many inherit that understanding together with your parents, with your grandparents. By the way, on that new channel, Anna Danilchuk, today, in the new video about the Russian culture, I actually analyze that situation, because For centuries, you were reading books, you were reading histories that described my part of the world in this very distorted way. In many, for example, works of the Russian literature, straight after Germany, Russia began, with no Poland, with no Ukraine, sometimes with no Czechia. So it happened that your great parents, great grandparents were reading these books, then Soviet Union appeared, one people, Soviet people, and all these myths, they were like passed from generation to generation. And that is why such kind of disinformation, such kind of fake things are very difficult to find, because it's not something that you consumed on the channel, in the news, in the video, but it is something that you inherited from your parents' stories, from their mindsets, and you know they are good people and you don't question that. Vlad, tell us, what is London like today? And I'm really happy, and I'm praying and I'm feeling that you are getting better, because we need you not just as a philosopher and great YouTuber, but to some extent as a great psychotherapist, you know, because watching some of your videos, we return, you know, this normalcy, or at least a chance of normalcy, back into our heads. There are lots of quotes that help us stand against this chaos, and chaos is actually very dark and very bad, and I see so many people agree with me. So thank you so much for being you. And I like how you use the word precious. So you are very precious to all of us. And I think that with all this positive vibes that we are sending your way, you must feel stronger and better. So remember to watch the video that will appear on this channel later, where I have decided to make this long list of Russian military industry facilities. And you know, as an ordinary Ukrainian, for quite a long, I did not like a phrase that says like asymmetrical warfare. I don't know why, but I had these associations like, you know, David and Goliath. That's a good comparison, but I had a different one, like something small is fighting with something really big, and I avoided it. But then I have found a different dimension of what an asymmetrical warfare can be. That is, you see, Vlad is extremely precious, and I agree with Thomas. So with all that, we feel that when you destroy, for example, a huge arsenal of extremely expensive instruments of mass matter, various missiles, various explosives, or, for example, when you target Yelabuga, a drone factory, with inexpensive drones. They do not cost billions or hundreds of thousands of dollars. They may be really cheap, less than 1,000, or they can be 10,000, but it's incomparable to the price of a missile, or of the arsenal of missiles. And this is what asymmetrical warfare is. This is how it works, when with something cheap, something that literally did not exist previously, you can achieve a lot. You know, I once shared that I don't like robots. I never did. These movies about robot revolution or something like that made me feel very like anxious. So these are, for me, robots are horror stories. And to some extent, I was right, because these flying robots and drones are to some extent resembling robots. They kill us. But there are also swarms of good drones. Drones interceptors, we start developing them and they start showing really good quality of interception. And recently I've read the news that a small Russian unit gave up to like some kind of ground robot. So this is, I don't know, something between a drone or like, naval marine. It's just like, I don't know what kind of. We had dog robots that could perform some logistics tasks instead of Russian donkeys. And now, so the unit decided to surrender and decided to surrender because the robot like arrested them. Perhaps they do have some weapons, they can explode. And I read that more and more of the Ukrainian commanders speak about the need to substitute infantry with robots. And now on the front line, we have something like a wall made of drones. A kind reminder, NATO needs Ukraine, because many countries keep preparing to the Second World War. And we have the Third World War. It's totally different. Tanks can be burnt really quickly. Cruise missile carriers can be burnt really, really quickly. Spiderweb happened in June. In October, we may have a very different technology that will be more successful. So everything is not the way you prepared for. Everything is not the way we prepared for. We don't have a choice. So we have to remain creative. But this is super and super important. So there are a lot of like strategies that we implement simultaneously, but the main one that I keep repeating on the channel: to defeat and demilitarize Russia. That is what the world needs. That is what Russia needs. Some smart Russians say that the defeat of Russia is very important for the survival of Russian people. Normal, this human survival, for at least a small chance for them, to return. Greetings, Lars Stefanchuk to Zakarpattia. Happy to see you. I don't know how come so many people don't understand that we are in the Third World War, because they perhaps have this image that one bad day on all state television of Europe and the United States, a TV host will go out in this, like evening news, and will say, "May I have your attention? Today, the World War III has started." What they forget is that the names, wars acquire these names actually after they almost finish. And this Third World War, it doesn't have to be the same as the Second World War, because the Second World War was different from the First World War. And they can be different, they can be very hybrid. And that's exactly what is happening in different corners of the world. And trust me, this growing size of anger, hatred, polarization is the result of unpunished evil, is the result of lack of moral clarity. It's so absurd sometimes, like, as a Ukrainian, I have already accepted this thing that you have to keep explaining something, you have to provide arguments why we need to defeat Russia, why it is worth supporting Ukraine, when if moral clarity prevailed, that would be easy. Who invaded whom? For what reason? How the war is conducted? It's so simple. After one strike on Children's Cancer Hospital, or after the destruction of Kakhovka Dam, or after one speech of Putin that you simply listen to attentively and you see how he undermines the very existence of one of the largest nations in Europe, all of that would be enough. It's that simple. It's moral clarity. And to tell you the truth, I'm 100% sure that if similar conflict appeared after somewhere soon after the Second World War, in the 50s or in the 60s, the reaction would be very different, because people still remembered the fear, the awful things of the Second World War. And now they pretend it's not happening, and that like by sacrificing something you can prevent it. No, that was the strategy at the beginning of the Second World War. The strategy was to sacrifice Czechia, to sacrifice Poland, and what did it result in? And by the way, if Hitler was stopped, if Putin was punished for the annexation of Crimea, militarily punished, that was very clear then. Unfortunately, but Gray, thank you so much, Vlad. London, warm, balmy, but gray. Gray is a good color. And Lutsk, I have to say, is very rainy, almost like London this summer. I could count just like on my hand the days that we did not have rain, and that is not very typical for my part of Ukraine. Now it's typical, but not to that extent. And but once again, when it's raining, drones, people are afraid of thunderstorms in Ukraine. I hope you know that, because like you never know, is it an Kijal missile or just a thunderstorm? And also, I remember that one of the recent attacks on my city was during rain. And like when you're hiding in a corridor, you start thinking some weird thoughts. And I remember thinking that, oh, how to do is rain bad for drones? So does rain somehow interfere in that flight trajectories? Like, for example, can rain be bad for drones or for air defense? And that's just like when you go through extraordinary experience, you may have weird and quite unpredictable thoughts, because just like, is it slippery for drones in the wet, rainy air? Seems like not. So anyway, remember to like this video before I let you go and enjoy your Saturday evening. And I have to say that this moral clarity is something that we have to preserve, because I don't have people in my, like a lot of people, I have my digital advisor. And if I'm filming something outside, I have people who help me. Thank you so much, Peter, for buying me coffees and for being a friend. That means a lot. So you witness Russia killing innocent Ukrainian children. You witness how they conduct the war. You witness what they say, not just about Ukraine, but about other nations. And you don't have problems understanding that this has to be stopped, this has to be defeated, this has to be punished. And I'm sorry, but justice is also very important. Justice is important in our life. And with this absence of moral, I think partially that like they annexed Crimea, and when they were annexing Crimea, they were still wearing green. They did not say they were Russian soldiers. They were just green men. They were testing. They didn't know if we let them go with that. They didn't know how the world will react to this violation of the international laws, because it's not just the violation of the Ukrainian border. They were testing, and the system allowed them to continue. And of course, now, after 3.5 years of such actions, this moral clarity is very like distorted, and they may say, okay, why was it okay with Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk, and it's not okay with Zaporizhia? And it's not because we've let them do it. It's so wrong. And I feel weird when I start speaking about, like justice, freedom, democracy. And many people say, well, these are empty words. You have to concentrate on just like Ukraine as a military hub, or people of Ukraine, demographic crisis in Europe, or how we can earn something, or that Russia can cause high prices for pet. Yes, goes without saying. I'm also pretty practical and I like online shopping, but people are being killed, innocent people. You see that this is an online war. And it is generally accepted that you don't have to overload people with these moral things. So that is one of the greatest dangers that this war actually exposed. And that is why I'm grateful for the channels like mine, because it's the community. And I have already told you that it's not about me, it's about us. This channel without you is not a channel. And I'm sure this amazing community of Vlad and Jake and so many other people, what makes it precious is the fact that it unites people. And then you meet each other, right? Then you communicate with each other. Then you feel that you know more about Ukraine. I'm not perfect. I can make mistakes, but you do have a friend in Ukraine. And it makes us all real, and it returns back this moral clarity, because maybe we have already lost it on this global level, between countries, between, I don't know, huge corporations. But thank God we still haven't lost it on this family, personal friend level. Still abusing your friend, doing something bad to your family member. Thank you so much, Lars. Is considered bad. Is considered bad. And this is what gives me hope. So maybe it will just like go. I do see how you influence your decision makers, and there are a lot of things that they have to do because you don't like it. Just as Ukrainians, they don't like the law, they protest, and now we have a new law. And I am totally satisfied with that. So maybe just like this bottom-up approach may save the world from the sad world war that, I'm sorry, has already started from my personal perspective. So guys, there will be 2 more videos coming today, one on this channel where I speak more about military industry facilities that we managed to demilitarize this week. And on the new channel, Anna Danilchuk, there will be an interesting discussion about the Russian culture. And I'm sure you will find some interesting arguments. Don't be afraid, I'm not Russophobic there. First of all, because phobia is about fear, and you all know we're not afraid of Russians. We have a different feeling. And if you want to know which, remember to subscribe to Anna Danilchuk and check the new video. Thank you so much for buying me coffee, for becoming patrons and sponsors. You know, we have a nice merch shop. The links you will find in the description. Thank you so much, all the good people who supported the community. Tubal Kane was definitely the star of this evening. Vlad, thank you so much for coming, and you know you're precious. You're one of a kind. Thank you so much to my beautiful friends in the moderators team, to Michael, to Philip, to Spencer, to Rudy, to Martin, and all the good people who cheered for likes. More likes always works great. And once again, give me your advice. I read all of your comments. Share these videos if you share my opinion. And United we stand. Thank you once again. Разом ми переможемо. Beautifully said, and I totally agree. Thank you so much, and Slava Ukraini!